Hey plant fans, Sonia here, and today I want to speak to you about why your garden design needs lines. There are lines in your garden anywhere through default, such as fences, driveways and so on, but actually if you become intentional about your lines, that's when you can really start to see a difference in the impact that your garden has. So why are lines so important? Well, they direct the eye as to where we look, but they also direct as to where we travel as well and physically move. They influence how we see and interpret and relate to the scene, and they provide structure, and structure is often what makes the difference between an impactful garden and an unremarkable garden. They also create drama, the vertical ones anyway, and the horizontal ones are really very good at providing stability and a sense of, dare I say it, serenity. If you think about where the ocean meets the horizon, is that not serene? So basically the crux of it is the lines organise the space. So we have two types of lines, curved and straight. Curved lines can be intentional. If you think about a path, you might put a curved path in to create some intrigue, some curiosity, also maybe to deformalise something to make it seem more casual or a little bit more laid back. However, what I would like to concentrate on in this video is straight lines. You can see from this Italian cypress here, we've got three superb columns, very, very striking, and I would suggest that the eye goes straight there. So lines in your garden don't need to be limited to hard landscaping. It is perfectly possible, and indeed I would encourage you to create lines through your planting as well, and that's what I want to go into a little bit more in depth with in this video. So first then, plants with strong vertical lines. If you look here, these are a couple of photos I took at Hunting Brook, which is Jimmy Blake's garden in Ireland. Earlier this year, we've got some really lovely blue delphiniums here on the left, and then we have a little row of silver birch on the right, and you can't see it, but actually behind there is open fields, very pretty view. It's slightly on a hill, not from this vantage point, but from certain vantage points in the garden you're getting a real vista. Just added a bit there to highlight the vertical lines on that. Second example here, we have golden bamboo, which we have at Pop in Brixton in London. What's interesting about Pop Brixton is it's like a series of pop-up shops and bars. They are made out of shipping containers, so it's got a very industrial vibe, but they've really added quite a bit of planting, just some cool vibrant planting. I do think this is really cool, the golden bamboo going whoo, you see it go up. It's a little bit of screening, but I feel like it's a bit more than that. You know, they're adding a bit of jazz in there. It's not just the colour, it's the structure as well, it's the height, it's the drama. Plants that may interest you then with strong vertical structure. Grasses, we've got Calamagrostis, acutiflora, Karl Foerster. Even though it's a grass, it's quite often used as a boundary because it's so very vertical. We've got flower spikes. Any of the foxgloves, actually, Digitalis purpurea, or my favourite Digitalis ferruginea, superb for this verticality, but actually any of the flower spikes, really, there is a lot of them, so go explore. Shrubs, then we have Berberis, thunbergii, we've got red rocket, orange rocket, Helmond's pillar. I love these ones as well. There's a few sambucus you can get. Not every single cultivar, but some of the cultivars, well, you can tell by their names because it's Sambucus nigra black tower, there's Sambucus golden tower, and there's also Sambucus Eiffel Tower. As you can imagine, they are narrow and straight. So trees then, fastigiate trees, if you know what fastigiate means. We already mentioned Italian cypress, Cupressus sempervirens. So when my daughter was 3, I remember we were in the street, she was pointing and saying, oh, look at the arrow in the sky, look at the arrow in the sky. I couldn't work out what she meant. I finally realised that she was pointing at the church spire, and she had interpreted the church spire as an arrow pointing up to the sky, which perhaps what the original architect was also thinking of in terms of pointing up to heaven and, you know, whoever might be there. Check your zones because they're not reliably hardy. If you wanted a reliably hardy alternative, you could go for Taxus baccata and Ilex crenata, sky pencil, which is a holly, Carpinus Betulus, Columnaris nana. Nana is dwarf in Latin, so whenever you see nana, it's going to be a smaller version than what you might otherwise come up against. That's a hornbeam. The other one you see quite often is Fagus sylvatica Dawick, and that's a really, really rich red purple beech. So plants with horizontal lines then, we have got Viburnum plicatum, Japanese snowball bush, and you can see, look at the horizontal lines there, very strong. We're showing you some cloud pruning here at the manor house in Ayot St. Lawrence. You can see the horizontal lines there. But in fact, any cloud-pruned, topiarized thing will work a treat. That's Haljeo Haesang National Park in South Korea. And that's a magnificent version of the horizontal layering. Obviously, that's taken to an extreme although it is a sight to behold. Keep that in mind while you're dreaming up your garden. Okay, so just for fun, then we've got a few plants that have both strong vertical and horizontal lines on them. So we have here Nymphophia, red hot pocus. Again, we're back to the flower spikes, but you can see there we've got the strong stalk, and then we've got a horizontal line as well. Here we've got Miscanthus sinensis zebrinus, also known as zebra grass. I took this at Capel Manor in Enfield when I was at college there. It's very tall, it's roughly about 2 meters, and it has a nice flecked horizontal line going across it as well. Just to show you then a garden with strong vertical and horizontal lines and the difference that it makes. This is the manor at Ayot St Lawrence in Hertfordshire. Here we've got a Cornus contraversa, which is called the wedding cake tree. Now you can see why, because look at the tiers that the branches are forming. I think this looks awesome. Perhaps we're not sure why, but then if you look at how strong the lineage is in that goes some way to explaining why this works so very well. There's other things going on as well, like the contrast of the light, the very light foliage of the wedding cake tree against the very dark foliage of probably the hedge at the back. Same garden from a different angle. I mean, even look at those stripes in the lawn in terms of the lines, and you can just see how impactful the garden becomes when lines are thought out and are intentional. So I hope this has given you a few things to think about now that you understand that lines organise the space, and also that you can achieve lines through your selection of plants, also that you can invoke certain feelings according to how you design your lines. We talked about the horizontal lines bringing sense of stability. The vertical lines are sometimes quite austere. You know, they bring an air of formality. Please subscribe if you found this useful, and I will continue to bring you plants-focused solutions for your garden. If you feel like you want to dive deeper into designing with plants, then you can watch this video here, which is an exploration of leaf types and how you can maximize their value in the garden to help you build an engaging border. Over and out. See you in the next one.